Hey basketball coaches and basketball players, today I am going to talk to you about some of the new positions that we just basically created over the last couple of years. And while going farther into the future, 2020 and beyond, we're going to be seeing more and more of these basketball players. So let's just get down to it. Let's check out what these new 3 positions are. So number 1 is the point forward. What is that? That is a player like LeBron James and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Those are players who are traditionally power forwards or just forwards in general, who can then also dribble the ball up the court and also be able to run an offense. Both Giannis and LeBron are fantastic players, and we're going to be seeing more and more of those type of players in the future. I almost pretty well guarantee it. I'm going to say Magic Johnson was a point forward. He was a massive player who could play point guard, but they didn't have that term back then, and they do now. Next is the point center. You've probably heard me mention this a few times over the last few years, but we're going to be seeing more and more of the point center coming into the future, 2020 and beyond, mainly because a point center is a center who is able to, well, let's just face it, who can pass the ball, but also more and more offenses are using a center at the point, at the top of the key, where they can set screen and rolls, or be able to run a 5-out offense with the center at the top of the key. I'm going to show you a really quick play right now. Okay, so here's a quick, simple play that you could run. We have the point center up top. We can have player 1 pass over to player 5. Player 1's going to set that screen down for player 2. Player 2's then going to pop up for a 3-point shot option. If they switch or whether they switch or not, it doesn't really matter. Player 1's going to be then rolling off of that screen across the key. So now player 5 has 2 different options. He can either pass to player 2 for a 3-point shot that may or may not be open, or he can pass down to player 1 for what hopefully is an open layup. Either way, we have 2 of the biggest defenders out of the key, which is why this is such a great strategy. Now, what you could also have is, instead, we can now have player 1 set a screen across to player 3, who's going to be then cutting across the key one more time, and he may be open for another layup. If he's not open and player 3 pops out, now you can have player 4 set a screen down. What we're hoping for here is a massive player screening a smaller player. So what we're hoping for is a switch. And if there is a switch, then what can happen is player 1 may get that ball and pull out player 4, and player 4 is now being guarded by a shorter player down in the low post, and you can have a nice easy layup. So this is a great play for you to run, and also a fantastic strategy for you to run as well. And as we can see from that 5-out offense, the center was at the point. They ran the whole offense through the center, and it's a great strategy to use. The Raptors use that strategy. Quite a few other teams use that strategy. I've seen Milwaukee use that strategy as well. It's a great strategy. You can pull away their center away from the net, which then allows you to cut through towards the net and have open lanes to the basket and not have to worry about a 7-footer blocking your player's shots. So it's a great strategy to use. Next is the stretch 4. As we already know from a previous video from a couple of years ago, 4 means the power forward. Some really popular players who play that position are players like, I guess you could say Anthony Davis, because he can stretch out towards the 3-point line, but that's basically all it is. It's a power forward who can shoot the 3-point shot. Dirk Nowitzki was probably one of the earlier ones, and basically it's a player who's playing the power forward instead of playing the high post or low post. You're able to stretch him out to the 3-point line so you can jack up some shots. And because of his height, Kevin Durant is one of those players. And because of their height, they're 7 feet tall or around that height, and their length is usually quite long. When they shoot that ball from the perimeter and they're 7 feet tall with like a 7'4" or 7'6" wingspan, it's really hard to block their shots, and that's why they are useful. They can get the shots up over top of other players. They're pulling away another tall player from the basket, which allows you to have players cutting through and not get their shots blocked, which is fantastic for your whole team. So, of course, What does this mean for players? For players, what you need to do is really work on your dribbling skills. No matter what position you're playing, you should learn how to dribble the ball at a high level. Next is shooting the ball. You should really learn how to shoot the ball. There is every single team, and I'm telling you right now, 100% of every single university, college, pro, doesn't matter what team. Everyone wants great shooters. If you're shooting over 35% in game, that means that you are more effective on the three-point line than you are in the low post. So, that's why. Now, I'm not saying that if you're 7 feet tall or you're a center or whatever, you should only be stuck outside the three-point line. That would be silly. No, you shouldn't be stuck out there 100% of the time. You should have some fun in the low post. That was my favorite position. Back in my day, if you were like a center, I was 6'2" in grade 8 and 6 feet tall in grade 6. You're stuck in the low post. You're not shooting any threes. Now they're sticking everyone out in the 3-point line, which just makes me laugh. But yeah, learn how to shoot, learn how to dribble, and obviously learn how to put low post. It's helpful. You can get rebounds and simple two points. That's basically it. Anyways, I hope that you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time.